Welcome to Living Sustainable Dream, and we have now officially reached 2,500 subscribers.
Woo!
All right, woo! So that's pretty good. That's pretty
exciting.
good. That's exciting. Just 2 years ago, we did this How Did You Find Us video clip.
Yep.
And we had 500 subs. In fact, we had only 500 subs on a day in December. I think it was December 3rd of 2017. Here we are, December 3rd, 2019, and we're now at 2,500. Like,
Awesome.
5 times. That's
awesome.
For us, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, some channels go viral quick, and well, hey, we're glad you're here and that you actually were able to find us. And so we're going to talk about some of the changes that we're going to make in our channel in 2020.
Yes.
So that'll be pretty neat. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the changes. So we're looking at playing by the rules. Okay, so for probably a year, 2 years, I've been running this channel. I've not been playing by the YouTube rules. And there's a whole list of reasons why I don't do that or didn't do it. And I finally went, you know what? It's time to probably play by the rules. I mean, after all, I know it's a free platform. YouTube is promoting channels that promote it. And it's kind of that, one in the bond of love. If you're part of us, you're one of us, we'll promote each other. But I've been kind of standing out here alone going, nah, I'm not sure I want to play.
Yeah.
And so we're going to change it up and we're going to play by the rules and see how our channel develops during that time. And what that means is that we're going to open our comments up again. So it's not going to change much for you guys except that you'll have more connection to the channel.
Right.
So the comments are going to be open.
Right.
And you can make comments, and those comments will eventually get to us when we check the comments in the channel.
Yep.
And that will probably be when we decide to post. And the other thing is we're going to also open up how many subscribers we have on our channel. So you guys know, obviously, we're 2,500.
Right.
I think to this day, I think we were at 25.
A little bit more than that.
I think 25, 30 something.
Right.
So we're still growing.
Right. But you can see us grow too.
But you can actually see us grow as well as more people decide to subscribe to our channel.
Right.
And the other thing we want to do is post probably a little bit more consistently. I haven't been posting as much. When we first started in 2017, we were posting religiously once a week.
Yeah.
And that just about destroyed me as a person. I work full time.
Yeah.
Outside the home. I'm a teacher, and we'll talk more about that later. But Krista is working her business, and she's doing a lot of the homestead stuff. And to try and video everything,
it got very cumbersome.
Right, and then and sometimes the content suffered because let's get a quick video of this,
right.
And then it's like, anyway.
So in 2020, we want to just once Mark knows his schedule, we've got my schedule. We'll kind of let you know when we'll be doing that, and just to be on a more consistent basis, so and so you would know when new content will be coming out.
If you've been following this channel for a while, you'll notice that I haven't been posting consistently anymore, but you'll notice that I have always posted probably like on a Friday evening, and I usually try to open up around Friday at 4:30 or something like that, because that's usually when I come home and I just want to relax and start the weekend. So you'll probably see the Friday post still, but maybe we'll definitely have once a month maybe, but we're going to try and be more consistent. Let's take a look at some of the things we also want to do. Is I would like to do a live Q&A. It would be fun to be able to have you guys chime in on a topic.
Yep.
And since you guys are going to be able to comment now, we're going to let you, the subscriber, choose some of the off-grid topics or even on-grid topics that you want to discuss. And we'll be kind of talking about some of those topics, but we're going to go to the subscribers and see what you guys want to do.
Yeah.
And open it up to you guys a little bit more and be live. So if you're troubleshooting something or you're shopping for the right equipment for something, I'll give you my opinion if you want it. I have been down this road for quite a while living off grid. We've been off grid for 9 years. So that's some of the things that you guys can kind of maybe, ask me questions and I'll do the best I can to answer it. I have a lot of people that ask me questions that I would love to be able to give immediate feedback with, like, what make and model are you talking about? What are, what issues are you have? What piece of equipment are you talking about? Because if I don't know that, I really can't help you because equipment is different.
Right.
Asking me a John Deere question when I have a Coyote tractor, not going to probably work so well. So that's something we're looking at, is maybe opening up a Q&A. And I've never done a live Q&A before, so our first one or two might be a little bit messy. We won't
But that's okay.
We won't have the cool system that we have set up here. We won't have the mic up here. You probably can hear me tapping that, but we'll have probably the cell phone back there using a cell phone YouTube app. And so the volume will be just a little bit different. But maybe Chris will be up here with a computer. She can see it, and then we can kind of have her cue me on the topics that come up from the subscribers. Right. So we're looking forward to that, or giving it our best try. How about that? The next thing we want to talk about is what kind of topics are you looking for in the next post, or in the next
Q&A.
Let's just say in Q&A, the live Q&A that we're going to try and do in 2020. So we have a bunch of expertise that we'd like to share with you, and I've already stated one. We've lived off grid for 9 years successfully in northern Idaho, and we love it. And we have a lot of unique systems, and we can talk about how we built our own house, how our friends and church community came around us and helped us do kind of a barn raising event. And we got pretty much the walls up in a couple days. We can talk about
how to do it on a budget.
Yeah, how to really shrink down the money to do it. We also designed more of a utilitarian house, which is basically a house that is for a purpose. And everything is functionally purposed. There's not much aesthetic here. But we can also do a walkthrough in our house if that's interesting to you. We have a wood cook stove, and we bought the Kitchen Queen, and we've covered a couple of videos on how to clean it, and we've done a couple cooking videos. But is that something you like to ask us questions, like how to get it working?
Right.
And I did share a flashback video in which you can watch where I totally did not run that thing correctly the first time we lit it, and it was a mess. But we figured it out, and we're really good at running our wood cook stove.
So any questions about wood cook stoves?
Yeah, how to use it, we got it. And then cooking, Krista is an amazing cook. She cooks using our propane stove and oven, and she also uses the wood cook stove. So if you have any cooking questions for Krista, how she does certain things,
off grid,
or in basically your refrigeration, all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So the other thing is off grid systems. We have our water system, we have our power system. The sewer system. We have also Krista does the appliances with the laundry. Right. So.
Any questions about off grid doing laundry off grid? Yeah.
Yep, she's got it down. So, and it's kind of cool that when Chris and I first started to think about going off grid, I remember I went and said, "Krista, we gotta live off grid. We've got to do this," and she was like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna live out in the sticks. Are you kidding me?" Because we're both suburbanites. We
grew up in suburbia.
Yeah, she grew up in the Bay Area, and I grew up in Portland, Oregon. So I mean, you put, and they go, "Hey, let's go. We'll look at." I mean, it didn't fly at first, but we kind of started to go with research and time. I was able to design a house that had all the modern conveniences except for a couple. Right. And we don't really even miss those. The couple we don't have a dishwasher, and we don't have a dryer for our clothes. And I think everything else is pretty standard.
Right. So our philosophy was, if to be able to incorporate as many modern conveniences as we could while still living off grid. So that was kind of our push there. And we also can do Q&A on canning. If you have any canning questions, feel free to put them in there, and I could answer. I do a lot of canning. So. Yeah.
Krista cans a lot out of our garden, straight out of it. And just to let you know, there's so many canning videos I haven't uploaded yet, so I still have a lot of editing to do on that. Yeah. And I kind of bring them in during the season. So I got a carrot video to come up and some others. So that's... And
any questions about that?
Yeah. And she has one that is really popular is her canning pickles. It was pretty amazing how that just went viral. The other thing is we actually went through an adoption 5 years ago, and we adopted our son. Yep. And we love him very much, and we do not really include him in our videos, but if you want to talk about the adoption system, how to adopt while you're living off grid, what we
Right.
did for the state of Idaho and meeting those regulations.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask us questions on that. We're more than open to basically tell you what we did and
Right.
how we did that.
Right.
But
Any questions centered around that whole topic?
yeah, and also how to go through the adjustment period, the honeymoon phase, and then also dealing with kind of some reactive attachment stuff. But
Well, just a lot of
yeah,
anything doing with trauma. It's been a journey.
yeah, it's been a journey, and we don't put our son in videos as
No.
much. You'll see him kind of sneak in and pop in every now and
Yeah,
then.
in the background there.
In the background,
Yeah.
he'll go, ooh, but we usually keep him in the background because we want him to be able to have his privacy
Yeah.
and if he does and let him be able to make the decision that he wants to be a part of this channel in that way on his own, and not to feel like he when he gets to be an adult that he
Right.
felt forced into it. I don't want to do that to him.
Right.
So we respect him and his privacy in that.
Yeah.
But adoption is another thing. Krista was a social work for many years in Idaho, and you can ask her questions about
Yep.
social work.
Yep. I have a BSW, Bachelor's in Social Work, and as Mark mentioned, I worked for the state of Idaho as a child protection worker, and I also worked with children with developmental disabilities and adults with mental illness. So I know that system. Some of the, my knowledge might be a little antiquated. It's been a few years, but all in all, the system is still the same. So if you have questions about that, I'd be more than willing to give you the information I know.
Yeah. And then also, I am a teacher for 18 years now. And if you have any questions about the education system or a person who has resisted or tried to change in the education system, that's me for 18 years. It's been an ongoing process. Being a teacher in an environment or even a culture that doesn't even respect teachers or teaching or even the education process. I was a English teacher, which was my minor, for 10 years. Out of the 18 years, I've been teaching social studies for 10 years. So it's I had a crossover of 2 years where I did both. But I love it. I do love teaching. I do love teaching the subject I'm in. And I teach economics, and I also teach American government, and I teach a variety of other classes that deal with U.S. or world history. The other thing is, if you want to talk about theology, my wife and I have been Christians for many years. We
belong to a church.
We belong to a church. If you want to ask any questions about churches, what's going on in the religious world, the upheaval that's been going on, we have a pretty interesting take on that, and we don't mind talking about it. But we also understand that a lot of people don't want to talk about that.
Right.
And so we'll just kind of give you a heads up if that's what you guys want. We'll bring it out.
Up to you. Yeah.
And then social media in general is a topic that has come to mind. I teach psychology as well at the high school, and I really it's kind of become a little bit of a passion for me to know that social media is using psychology very heavily. And to be honest, that's part of the main reasons why we really backed off on social media.
Sure. True.
A couple of years ago is because we're like, this is using a lot of addiction, psychological addiction. It is manipulative, and it's trying to keep you engaged in its system so they can sell advertisement and make revenue off of your eyes.
Also, how does that play out in your life if you're always on social media or you're feeling this, I need to check. Well, anyway, so we're willing to talk about that topic.
Yeah, and it creates a lot of anxiety in people, and
Yeah.
it's no wonder there's so much tension on social media.
Right.
And then also knowing the psychology of there's a lot of social media wants to get you fighting and arguing and going back and forth, because what that does is it gets you engaged longer so they can sell more.
Right.
more
Thus,
of your
that's why our comments
time.
left for a while.
Yeah. So that's why we shut that down, but we're opening it up, and the only reason we're opening it up is because of the algorithm picks up your channel that way, so it promotes and so forth. But we're still going to limit our engagement with it.
Right.
So when we post, I'll check comments then, but
Right.
I'm not going to be checking them every day, every hour. No,
Right.
that's not what I want to do.
Right.
So in conclusion, we just wanted to basically ask you, how did you even find us? We asked this question.
Yeah.
2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And we had comments back then. It was very interesting to get that feedback on how people actually said, whoa, we found you because we've got this video or this video. So what video did you subscribe on? What brought you to the channel? Or did you get brought here by a word of mouth? Did you were you buying a candle from Chris's company and went that way? Are you a past student of mine that is cyber stalking Mr. Weber and going, wow, that guy is really old now. I thought he was old when he was teaching me, but no. But
do you have any subs that are students?
I do.
That's what I thought.
I do have a few subs out there that are students. So, and I love that. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And I used to be able to dialogue a lot more when I had Facebook, and because of the whole social media stuff, I pulled that down. But I do miss that. I really do. That interaction. Or did you find us from a comment from another page where one of us commented on another page and went, well, I wonder what they're doing, and checked us out? Or is it something completely different? So let us know. We appreciate it.
Right.
So thank you for following us at Living a Sustainable Dream, and keep it up. We just really appreciate you guys, and hopefully we'll grow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. The camera died.
How long ago did that die?
The Wind Gym Sock for the Zoom. Would you like to be interviewed?
Not really.
Why not?
I mean, it's looking a little dirty.
It's clean.
Yeah, but babe, seriously.
We're now up to 500 subscribers.
Wow. Can you believe we're at 500?
500. Not 500,000.
Yeah.
500.
500.